Jeezy has been outed as a rat. Has been outed as a cooperator.
I told y'all everybody be snitching.
He wasn't outed by Blue Da Vinci or Gucci Mane, his usual ops. No, he's been outed by the FBI themselves. The snitching allegations.
Bro, chat said I owe y'all $20 for the inconvenience. Sorry for the inconvenience. $20 is on the way to your imaginary bank account. Do your homework on imaginary. Okay.
On Jeezy is actually centered around the two biggest storylines of his career: his beef with Gucci Mane and his association with BMF. Back in 2005, when Gucci Mane and Jeezy was beefing,
right,
their beef actually led to somebody being murdered, a man called Pookie Loc, which was really good friends of Jeezy. Now, the publicized story of this is Gucci Mane caught the body in self-defense.
Right.
However, Gucci Mane was initially charged, then it was dropped due to self-defense.
Gotcha.
And we learned all about Gucci Mane's legal troubles due to this murder. But what's not told is...
I think everybody's snitching, though. FBI, open up! I think everybody is snitching, bro.
Pookie Loc actually got Jeezy on the fence.
I don't give a damn how tough
they is. And the feds actually blame Jeezy more for that murder than they blame Gucci Mane. If you guys are kind of blurry about what exactly happened between Gucci Mane and Jeezy, let me, redraw your memory real quick.
With Gucci Mane and Jeezy leading the way in Atlanta rap, it was only inevitable that a collab would come soon. In 2005, Gucci Mane and Jeezy would record 2 songs together. The first song was Black Tees, which was a response to Dem Franchise Boys' hit song White Tee, and the second song was So Icy, or just Icy. So Icy would go crazy in the streets almost immediately, and would then be featured as the main single on Trap House 1. The song was such a massive hit that even high schools across the country banned the iconic snowman tee that Jeezy wore in the video. But as time went on, rumors surfaced that Jeezy may have been upset with how things went. Although it's still not 100% clear why Jeezy was upset, we can assume it has something to do with the fact that he wanted the song to be on his upcoming album. He quickly took to the studio to release a diss track titled Stay Strapped, where at the end of the song he would put a $10,000 bounty on Gucci's So Icy chain.
Oh!
Real talk, I got a bounty on that shit. 10 stacks, man. You know Jeezy pay.
He said, I got a bounty on the chain?
Jeezy would start to distance himself from Gucci and cause some strain on their friendship. Gucci would also get upset at the fact they could never perform their song live.
Yeah, I'm young, bro. I'm still young, goddammit. So in 2005, nigga, I was 7. So I don't know.
He felt they were missing out on a huge part of promotion. Because once again, this is in the days where live shows made a huge impact on getting your music heard. But Jeezy didn't stop, and he continued the beef. Over the coming weeks, the petty beef would turn into something much more. One summer evening, Gucci would go home with a stripper after a party, just a month after the So Icy hit dropped. 5 men stormed the home where Gucci was staying.
Oh, so he got set up by a girl through Jeezy?
Armed with pistols, brass knuckles, and duct tape. They would get into a physical altercation.
Pistols? Hold on, pause. Pistols, brass knuckles, and duct tape? Them niggas came to do more than a drill. What kind of weird shit they was on?
Pistol whipping the stripper and hitting Gucci in the face. One of the men allegedly yelled, "Shoot him." Upon realizing his life was at risk, Gucci shot back. Some people say he reached for his gun, where other stories say he may have disarmed one of the men and took his. He shot the gun, killing one of the men, as the others ran off. 3 days would go by until someone found the body of the deceased man in the woods behind an elementary school. When the smoke cleared, authorities identified the man as Pookie Loc, one of Jeezy's prodigies under his CTE label. After 9 days...
That's probably why he went to jail. Because he killed him and put his body in the woods, but he probably was scared. You feel me? But no matter how scared you is, though, no matter how scared you is, shorty, you gotta call a popo. You're not that far behind the age for that era. Yeah, I ain't that far. Like, I remember being young, like, still listening to Gucci and shit and listening to Jeezy. But I wasn't old enough to be following they beef when they first started and shit, you know?
Man would turn himself in, claiming self-defense. He released a statement saying he's not a murderer, but he was scared for his life, and he had to be a man about it.
For some reason, Jeezy has always maintained his innocence and denied that he sent men to kill Gucci. He's always says he's innocent. However, the fans wasn't buying it. Gucci wasn't buying it.
We ain't buying that.
And the feds weren't buying it. Stay with me, okay?
Okay.
At this point in Jeezy's life in 2005, everything was going downhill for him. His homie died trying to kill Gucci. His crew that he was rolling with at the time, BMF, well, they got indicted for a RICO.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, everybody got indicted but Jeezy. And a lot of people was very confused about that. Because even Blue Da Vinci got indicted. And
bro, y'all is funny as fuck in this chat, bro. Bro could have got off, but he thought he was in Hitman 3. Do your homework. Zoom, you was crazy, bro.
Vinci, you can probably make an argument, was around BMF just as much as Jeezy was around BMF. Well, Blue Da Vinci did a Ken Capone interview a couple of years ago. And during this interview, Blue Da Vinci broke down how Jeezy got out of being indicted with BMF when the feds initially came and indicted Big Meech and everybody associated with BMF.
Right. In the grocery store at the line like, ooh, old white lady, do you know that Gunna told you was a bitch? Like all that shit, bitch ass shit. I'm cut from a different cloth. I'm cut from the cloth that you got your information on whoever is the rat. And you got it in black and white and you understand what went on with such case or whatever, you feel me? So, you know, when it come down to me, it's just different.
Was Jeezy in the paperwork?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's public information. You can look up right now on your phone. Man testifies about Jeezy's cocaine selling. Type in your phone something like that. You're going to see one of the who name it Lights. Ralph Sims, the same that told about the limo that tried to say I told. Ralph Sims, Ralphie. Told on Jeezy, told everything Jeezy ever did. Jeezy had like 12. Jeezy had more statements on him than me. What you talking about?
Damn. Calm down, bro. He just asked the question.
I feel like this. I know some things he did, like he turned Meech cars into the feds. That same Porsche truck and that Ferrari I was talking about a while before he came to Miami and doing some lie detector tests about this gun case he caught one year in 06 when I went to go meet him. We had a shootout, not against him, but some other, like when me and him started trying to talk, some other popped it off with us and we ended up having a shootout. And he ended up going to jail for a gun. If anybody is familiar with that Miami case, him and Twin came back to do a polygraph test that's supposed to be for that shit. And the security said that the Meech cars pulled up on flatbeds, nigga, into the federal building when he went and did it, when he was inside for his meeting or whatever. So I know he turned in the cars. Ain't no telling what people be doing, bro. That's all I know he did. And then he told about how the gun case that was already thrown out at the state level, and then the feds picked it back up. So everybody look up Big House. You look up Big House. He was a security for Jay-Z. He was a security for Big Meech. He was also security for Young Jeezy. Yeah, Jeezy put the people on his ass, and he'll let you know. You look him up, he talking his story, and you know, you got all these people with these accounts of these people that's out here. Sorry, y'all, I just be the bearer of bad news because 10 years go by and people act like they ain't never heard nothing, don't know nothing. Like, hold on, the selective politics shit gotta stop.
If you look at that BMF indictment,
you ever had one of them days where everything seems to go wrong? I mean, you're just trying to grab a cup of coffee and BAM! You're tangled in a pile of boxes because the shelf is broken. And just like that, I realized sometimes accidents at work are more than just funny stories. They can actually change everything. Trying to handle a workplace injury on your own, it's like trying to fix the broken shelf yourself. More chaos, more headaches, and it's no guarantee that you'll get what you deserve. You got paperwork, insurance calls, and someone always telling you to wait. It's enough to make you wish you had a secret weapon. But here's the thing, there's a team of people that fights for people just like you. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, has been winning cases when everybody else said it couldn't be done. In Florida, someone got $12 million after a work accident, even though the insurance was ready to offer just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a worker was awarded $26 million, which was 40 times the initial offer. These are not just numbers. They're real victories for real people, all thanks to the team that fights hard for justice. More than 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, like a legal squad ready to jump into action. Yeah. They've recovered over $25 billion for clients. And they have a long history of helping workers get what they're owed. Because when you're injured at work, you shouldn't have to go at it alone. You can just click the link below or the QR code that's on your screen. No endless waits or confusing forms. Just a quick way to start protecting your rights today. So if you had an accident on the job, do not risk doing it alone. You can check out Morgan & Morgan. Because even in the toughest workplace accidents, a strong team makes all the difference. And trust me, there's a reason why they're America's largest injury law firm. It's because they fight for the people just like you.
They were indicting people. I'm talking about at the low level. Just an association.
Yeah.
All right, yo, you was claiming BMF. Rico.
Rico.
Yo, there were people on that case
Man.
who did like 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
For like low level involvement with BMF.
Damn, that's crazy.
But Jeezy, who was with BMF on a daily basis, was not charged. Now, this story has been told by Blue Da Vinci and other members for years, but
Right.
because they are at a point in their careers where they aren't as successful as Jeezy, it's
Right.
always been looked at, man, they hating.
It get
Now,
overlooked.
Blue Da Vinci would also will also give another point, like in his interview. At the time he believed, or where he began to think, oh yeah, Jeezy is cooperating with the feds, was with the records and the contracts, right? So Blue Da Vinci was trying to get off the ground, trying to get the music hot again. He had a record with Jeezy. Now, Jeezy was supposed to clear the record, sign the contract so it could go. He dropped the record and the record got pulled from the radio. That's because Jeezy never signed the contract. And he pursued that. And you're about to hear him explain how the pursuit of trying to get Jeezy to sign that contract led him to think, oh, you're cooperating.
And I pushed the record out. It was on Koch. It was getting promoted and all the shit.
So who did he snitch on?
It was getting promoted correctly. All the numbers was right. I was like,
did y'all hear that?
300 and some spins a week on my BDS at the time. And I got a call from my team. It was like, bro, they talking about, it was like a Tuesday. I think it was a Tuesday if I am mistaken. I was on the road on my tour bus and I got a call from my team and they said that on Thursday.
He said, I come back and I'm reacting to your uncle. This your uncle?
In 2 days, they gonna pull
your uncle
the record from radio if they don't get Jeezy and CTE signature. They wasn't signed off for the record. So I like, what? I'm like, all right, hold on, bro. Let me call this and blah, blah, blah. So I called it. And this wasn't the first time I called him about that. It was already mentioned before they dropped the shit. So they dropped it and we still didn't have the signatures. And I think it was dropped on good faith that we was going to get the signatures from Alan Grunblatt at Koch. They got the shit. They worked it out with Clear Channel or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying? So the record could stay up there and they was telling her they going to have the paperwork or however it went. But them motherfuckers, I called Jeezy. He swore up and down to God in heaven. He signed off and all this shit. But I had my signature.
Oh, Flocko.
Then my signature for BMF Entertainment as the owner. Then we had Alan signature from Koch. Then we had John Jackson, which is Fabulous name as an individual, Fabulous the artist. Then we had Skane and Clue for Desert Storm was signed off. I had those signatures. I saw them with my eyes. Then I think I had, at this time, was Jay Brown's signature from Def Jam. He was the vice president of Def Jam at that time. I believe his signature was on my record for Def Jam.
He gets tired of calling Jeezy because Jeezy is clearly giving him the runaround. He don't understand why Jeezy don't want to clear the record. So he tells Jeezy, I'm going to pull up on you. Now, when he pulls up on Jeezy, when they're talking, an altercation broke out and a shootout happened. They never really got to finish their like conversation. Jeezy,
do your homework, Christopher. Do your homework on Mako smoking during the live. Do your homework on I don't do my job for free. Do your homework on demonetization. You see what I'm saying?
Ultimately does like a
gotta catch my drift.
Like a polygraph test for the incident to prove that he was not the one that shot and like he fought a case for it, et cetera, right?
Flocko be close as hell to this camera.
At the conclusion of this, Blue Da Vinci came to the conclusion, oh, Jeezy is cooperating with the feds, and the feds is probably telling him not to do anything to help out BMF or else he will get indicted.
And they have talks on like, bro, where you at? I'm just gonna pull up. I left my tour route and drove the bus all the way to Miami to go have a conversation with Jeezy about the record being signed off, and that's when that shootout happened that I was just talking about previously. I went to talk to him about that record. That's what the conversation was about. I was coming to meet him and confront him about the shit with all of this shit with me. And as soon as we start talking, Tula was walking down the street with dreads, and they're like, oh shit, there go Jeezy, dog. And the other nigga like, oh, and Blue, that's Jeezy and Blue, nigga, that's BMF right there, nigga. Oh, bro, let us get a picture. And then my little cousin twin, big twin, he like, oh, nigga, they ain't taking no picture. You see they trying to talk, so the little like, and then the twin fired him. Boom. And that's what started that shit that ended up to the shootout. And me and him never talked about the record right there because that fight turned into a shootout, turned into we all ran, turned into Jeezy got locked up for the gun. And then later on, Jeezy went back to have a polygraph test about that situation. That was all about that day I went to meet him to talk about why he didn't sign off on my record with me, him, and Jeezy, and they pulled it from the radio.
Right.
And I believe he couldn't because the feds had jacked him and told him, nigga, if you help these niggas, and the same reason why he couldn't do the deal with us. Same reason why he couldn't put his name on the contract, because the contract ensues help to BMF. They struck his ass down and told him they were going to put your ass in prison if you continue to help Big Meech and Blue.
That would make sense, though, you know, because if it's a Rico, they trying to say that this group of people participates in illegal business. So if you a snitch on the Rico, you can't be a snitch on the Rico and doing business with the niggas. You feel me? That do make sense.
Shit, you gotta fully pull away from that shit. Like, there ain't nobody else stop quitting the mob. He the only in history that just stop claiming the mob.
Up until this point, it's been a theory. It's been one of those things that just floated around. People essentially came to the conclusion, man, these are hating niggas trying to tear down Jeezy, who's a successful black man who done beat the streets. All right. These ninjas is hating. Well, a former FBI agent who was actually tasked with investigating this Rico and indicting Jeezy on a Rico, he spoke. Now, apparently,
former agent,
when Pookie Low got killed by Gucci Mane,
that's sis.
And it was believed that Jeezy sent Pookie Low and them to murder or kill Gucci Mane, and it just backfired. The federal agent would say, yo, they had witnesses, they had wiretaps, they had everything.
Damn.
They were seconds away from indicting Jeezy on a clear-cut, open and shut Rico.
Damn.
For the murder of Pookie Low. Kind of like how they did with YFN Lucci, where YFN Lucci went sliding on the ops. His homies hop out, start shooting, the ops shot back, the homie died. They charged YFN Lucci with a Rico for his homie's murder. Right. They was going to do the same with Jeezy. But the FBI agent would say something very odd happened that stopped all of that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the guy's name because he's pretty famous, and to be fair,
that nigga looked like he in the FBI. Oh my God. He just looked like he looked, oh my, I gotta play the sound. FBI, open up! Jesus. That nigga looks like an officer. I've never seen a nigga look more like an officer than this guy right here.
Charged with a crime. But we had these two rappers in Atlanta in the early 2000s, and they were beefing with each other.
He ain't gonna say no name, but he gonna tell us he gonna give us an exact description.
Trading diss tracks, the whole thing. Then rapper number one, the famous one, orders his goons to go beat up rapper number two and steal this gaudy gold and diamond necklace he wore.
Now we know exactly who he talking about.
All his videos, and that's where it got interesting. The goon squad shows up at rapper number two's place. He pulls a gun and starts shooting. One of the attackers gets hit, makes it about 200 yards away from the house before he drops dead. Rapper number two is arrested for murder, but it's dismissed as self-defense. And the real criminal here is rapper number one, who ordered the violent act that got his man killed. I had the phone records and two witnesses prepared to testify for what would have been a rock-solid Rico murder case. But for reasons that were never explained to me, the U.S. Attorney's Office declined prosecution, and rapper number one went on to have a phenomenally successful career. Oh well, win some, lose some.
That's crazy.
Obviously, he's implying that Jeezy and because the feds just abruptly abandoning their plans to charge someone with a clear-cut Rico don't just happen.
Even look at the fucking profile picture. Like, if I was doing some type of crime and I seen this nigga in my comments, bro, I would burn my phone. He looked like a fed in the profile picture. Jesus fucking Christ.
Without some form of cooperation. However, in the comment section, he only liked and responded back to two comments. The first comment he liked and responded back to was Jeezy and Gucci. And he says, I mean, you said it, I didn't. Playing it coy.
Right.
The other comment that he responded back to and liked, also playing it coy, was, well, the BMF theory. Somebody commented, so Jeezy cooperated with the feds on Meech, so when this happened, he got a pass.
Mm-hmm.
That
would make sense, though.
Implied in the video.
That would make sense. Jeezy, this big rapper. Jeezy was with BMF pretty much the whole time. Jeezy probably knew a lot about a lot. And they probably just worked the deal.
By imply, I mean, the FBI agent knows exactly what happened. He knows exactly what the theory is. And he knows this is the truth. And he responded back and liked it. And he says,
interesting theory.
Interesting theory. I guess now we have our answers. I guess now we know why Jeezy was never charged when BMF was charged, even though literally any and everyone who was rolling around calling themselves BMF got charged.
Right.
Literally any and everyone, bruh. Now we know why. And now we know why exactly Jeezy was never charged with the Rico for his homie being murdered by Gucci Mane.
That's some heavy shit to drop on.
That's
some heavy shit to drop on a Monday, bro. Do your homework. Do your homework.
Barely.
Now, me personally, like I said, bro, I think everybody would snitch if they was in the right opportunity, the right situation to snitch. Everybody would definitely snitch. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck how tough you is. If you got two options, and that's to go do life in prison or tell on a motherfucker and get out right now, how many of us are realistically gonna do the life in prison, bro? Like, let's just you know what I'm saying? I'm live on Twitch, for real.